Wow. This was kind of a I don't really know chapter. After 2 weeks ago, we got a chapter I greatly said no to because that was just full of despair. Then we got some chapter that implicates some hope and some everything, and now we get this. I mean, I want to say this just feels so random, but the thing is, this is Hiromashima stuff. When things happen like this is never really random because this is his shtick. But at the same time, I do feel, what was even the point of all this? Which is very rare for me to say as a Hiromashima reader. I guess it's because the amount of despair I felt in this chapter just didn't clash with me. But yeah, this is me, the Anger Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer. This is chapter 160. I tend to review this the most. And to basically spoil the entire chapter, death happens here. 3, for what we can presume. Even Creed, yes, after everything that was revealed of that and the blah 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 blah, he suddenly is just dead. And the shooter, well, to be honest, I didn't see that one coming. I mean, I have never liked him, not ever since he was revealed to be a mole, but damn, what was even... I still don't understand what was the point of that. The biggest hardship, though, is the Oasis members. 2 Oasis members. Actually, 2 I really wanted to survive are the ones that kick it. Once again showing a little bit that... Hiromashima-san, are you prejudiced against aliens? Because one of the bigger aliens are the one who's kicking the bucket here. So what's happened in this chapter? Well, Creed revealed his name, Seiju Hojo, and that was a Shogun family. And the fact that Homura is a polite young lady, well, she immediately bows to Creed. The fact is that a lot of people said, why did you do that with your attitude? And the thing is, people. Go read the TV tropes of her. She speaks in Keigo. She is a polite young lady. Of course she would show respect to someone of such high status. It's obvious. It's not some random thing. It is there. Of course, let's just call him Credo because it's that. He left his planet because he realized that it was outdoor and wanted the other cosmoses to really free it of it all. So he wanted to learn and take things because he wanted to reform the old customs and class system and broader Orio's culture, which is something that not many do. But then suddenly at their moment, even though Homer acknowledges of it all, their moment is ruined by actually another infiltrated agent. And that is none other than Jess. Yeah, and Jess is of course not a single bit determined to team up with Homura because, well, Homura is a friend of Elsie, and anyone who's a friend of Elsie is is an enemy of him. But the fact is, this sort of hatred, anger, is very similar to how Justice reacted, especially when he says the line, anyone with Elsie deserves to die. That seems to imply that whatever happens to this scenario is also connected. I mean, I asked about Jess last week because there was somehow he knew Homura. Even, I guess, that was before she joined the Eden Zero with the crew. But the thing is, she doesn't say anything else. He has mentions Elsie in this scenario. And this anger against Elsie, that is a personal thing. I guess this makes sense. Then we're taking it out to the outside where things get pretty badly as a new class weapon appears, a sea serpent, which is a temple weapon. So, and it even though that Oasis are fighting good, suddenly a big light appears as Lysari says them all to scatter, and it's a bright light that, to be honest, looks very similar to how when Eraser erased all those ships. Coincidence? Actually, yeah, I think it is just a coincidence. And unfortunately, the ship hit Lizare, killing him. But although they dodged the light, something very strange happened. It just grazes the ship of Furane, and she dissolves. As her final words to her boyfriend Dylan is, "I'm sorry." And so two Oasis members have kicked it. I suspected they would kick it, but I did not want them to kick it. So the Interstellar decides to deal with that weapon. But back on the field is the fact that Creed tries to reason with Jesse, but when he doesn't, he tries to do ether lock. But then suddenly Creed just fires the gun, just like that, pierces his heart, which apparently to him that wasn't meant to. And as the fatal begin to do it, Creed confesses to Homera and how much he would have wanted to go to Credo and the streets, and then suddenly fall seemingly lifeless on the floor. The fact that even Jess says that he is dead. Are we to believe he's dead? Well, he technically was shot through the heart. So, yeah, I mean, technically also we saw Witch with her intestines out, but also she said that her view was a bit diminished. So, is she dead? Is she not? Well, I don't know, but is this supposed to say that Creed is dead? I felt that was a little bit forced. And you know what? Hiro Mashima is sometimes he doesn't kill off characters so much, but I am used to that he does troll moments and that he uses forced moments. But this one, for some very strange reason, I mean, yes, it's very disappointing to this happen, especially as Homer and Creed began to bond. It doesn't get me on an emotional level. The Oasis deaths was way more impactful for me, but I still just felt like what was even the point of that? Was that to? I mean, yeah. I mean, I hate to feel this way in a Hiroshima manga because I know there are a lot of things that is not the point because that is just how he writes. But at the same time, I don't see a point here other than to just reinforce our hatred towards Yes, and just showing that having such an unstable hatred for one person who is associated with another person is not a good thing. And then we're actually taken back to the Shura fight, where Shiki actually begins to hit Shura in a confused manner. It's his line that he says here, though, that is very sad, because he says, though there were lights scattered in space. Every one of them that went off, a life went out. Those lights won't go away as long as you're around. I mean, it's almost like saying like he doesn't know what just happened. But he is... At the beginning when I read that, I actually thought he didn't say lights will never go out. But the thing is, he's acknowledging it. Lights are going out. And just in this moment, lights went out. Both in space and probably on the ground. And he is pointing out the true thing. As long as Shura is around, these lights will continue to go out. Granted, maybe even as long as Nero is around and the ship. A super temple have happened to turn the tide of despair. But this Homura situation here, I actually don't know what to feel. I mean, I felt hatred towards Yes, and I don't like him. But I still don't understand. What is the point of this? It's so weird. It's so weird for me to feel that in a Hiro Mashima manga because I know there are a lot of things that doesn't make sense, but I'm just going with it. But in this scenario, I don't really know what to feel. It's the Oasis thing that was very fascinating. So yeah, it was a despair chapter, and you all know me, I do not like a despair chapter. It was satisfying to see Shiki giving Shura a clock, but the fight is not over yet. Still, what's gonna happen now? Give me your thoughts if you have any.